Om Namah Shivaya. Episode 74, Chapter 13, verses 12 to 18. The knowledge of Brahman, Jneyam. Having established our minds with these values and attitudes, Jneyam, we are now ready to gain the knowledge of Brahman, Jneyam. Jneyam is pure knowledge, Suddha Vidya, knowledge of the Atma within, Kshetrajna, which is also called Purusha, the cause for this creation. In verse 12, Sri Krishna says, first, what is to be known is Brahman, Jneyam Yat. That I will tell clearly, Tat Pravakshyami, knowing which you will gain deathlessness. Yat Jnatva Amritam Asnute. Second, that Brahman is said to have no beginning. Tat Brahma Anadi Mat Uchate. It is limitless, Param, which means it also do not have an end. Brahman is not an existent thing, nor not existent. Na sat, na asat. The Shastra just establishes that Brahman alone is eternal. This self-evident Atma is Brahman is revealed by the Shastra, which is an independent means of knowledge in the form of words. These words operate in our mind and intellect. That is where all knowledge takes place. In quietude and solitude, as we study and contemplate upon the words of the Shastra creates thoughts in our mind to reveal Brahman. But Brahman cannot be revealed by words. The words of the Shastra having made an attempt to reveal Brahman and having failed, the words become silent. And when words become silent, our mind becomes silent. Being silent, our mind reverses itself to its roots, from Prakriti to the Purusha level. Our Mithya mind disappears in the sense we understand that Brahman, the pure consciousness that is pervading the entire creation, is the truth of our mind. This makes us wise, and we continue living as Jivan Muktas, working out our prarabdha karma. And when it gets fully exhausted, we drop this physical body and become one with Brahman. There is no rebirth. We have gained deathlessness. Verse 13 presents Brahman as the pure consciousness in every object in this creation, revealing how Brahman is not non-existent. First, Brahman is the pure consciousness, the truth, and it pervades everything. Sarvam avritya tishtanti. And through superimposition and negation, the entire creation becomes mithya. Second, Brahman has hands and feet on all sides. Sarvata pani padam. Has eyes, heads and mouth on all sides. Sarvata akshi shiro mukham. Has ears on all sides in the bodies of the people. Sarvata Srutimat Loke. This is not a contradiction. Brahman is not presented as an object in this creation, but as the pure consciousness that is pervading every object in this creation. Brahman as Ishvara is the creator. And by having Maya under his control, he creates this creation with his threefold Maya Shakti. Jnana Shakti is the capacity to know, and our senses are the expression of Jnana Shakti. Ichcha Shakti is our capacity to desire, and our minds are the expression of Ichcha Shakti. Kriya Shakti is the expression to do, and our hands are the expression of Kriya Shakti. The very fact that we see these Shaktis indicate how Brahman is not non-existent. Verses 14 to 16 present some seeming contradictory statement about Brahman to reveal how Brahman remains eternal and free from this ever-changing creation Prakriti. Verse 14 presents three seeming contradictory statements. First, Brahman appears as the attribute of all the organs, Sarvendriya Gunabhasa. At the same time, Brahman is free from all the organs, Sarvendriya Vivarjitam. Everything under Prakriti, our intellect, mind, 5 senses of perception, 5 powers of action, etc. are all functioning due to Brahman shining as the very expression of our organs. At the same time, Brahman is totally free from the attributes of all the organs. Second, Brahman is totally unattached, asaktam. At the same time, Brahman is the sustainer of all, sarva-bricha eva. Everything under Prakriti is being sustained by Atma Brahman. That means our body, mind, senses and the entire creation are functioning due to Brahman's all-pervasive pure consciousness. At the same time, Brahman is totally unattached to whatever that is taking place at the Prakriti level. Third, Brahman is free from the 3 gunas, nirguna. At the same time, Brahman is the experiencer of the 3 gunas, guna bhokta cha. The nature of Brahman is Satyam, the truth, Jnanam, all-knowing, and Ananta, eternal. And Maya is the modifying cause for this Mithya creation. And Maya is also Mithya. The 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, creates all kinds of experiences. Through our senses of perception, Sattva creates some pleasure and peace. Rajas creates all kinds of agitation. And Tamas creates dullness and delusion. It is because of Atma, Brahman alone, all these experiences are possible. When we know this, we do not have to transcend the 3 gunas to recognize Brahman. Whether we are happy or sad, Brahman can be recognized. Verse 15 presents 4 more seeming contradictory statements about Brahman. First, Brahman is that which is both outside and inside of all being. Bahir antarcha bhutana. In our ignorance, we think what is inside our physical body as inside, and from our skin to the external world as outside. But Brahman, being the all-pervasive pure consciousness, is both inside and outside, giving its existence and consciousness to everything. Second, and that Brahman is that which does not move and indeed that moves. Acharam charam eva cha. The fact is, the entire creation is moving. But the movement that is meant here is voluntary movement. All creatures, animals and human beings move on their own, charam, whereas mountains and plants do not move on their own, acharam. The entire creation is pervaded by Brahman. So Brahman is seen as that which does not move and indeed that moves. Third, Brahman is the most subtle, cannot be known. Sukshmavad tat avigneyam. Brahman is even subtler than space, cannot be known as an object. Brahman is our self-evident nature and the consciousness in every object seen. When we see an object, when we know that we, the seer, and the object seen is Brahman, mean we are wise. Fourth, Brahman is both far and near. Durastam cha antika cha tat. Whether we look for Brahman inside or outside, we will not find Brahman, because we who are looking for Brahman is Brahman. When we know this, Brahman is the nearest. Otherwise, it will be the furthest. Verse 16 presents two more seeming contradictory statements about Brahman, on how Brahman is to be recognized. Tat Jneyam cha. First, and Brahman remains undivided. Avibhaktam cha stihitam. And who is seemingly divided in all being and elements. Bhuteshu vibhaktam eva cha. It is this seemingly divided that makes the difference between knowledge and ignorance. When we say Brahman is seemingly divided, means we know that Brahman, Atma, is the pure consciousness that is pervading the entire creation. And no division can divide Brahman. And we do not need to remove any division to recognize Brahman. Second, Brahman as Ishvara is the creator, sustainer, and dissolver of all beings and elements. Bhuta Britta, Prabha Vishnu, Grashishnu cha. Here Ishvara plays a threefold role. First, as the creator, he is Lord Brahma. He creates this creation by the law of Dharma. And we human beings are born according to our past accumulated karmas. Second, as the sustainer, he is Lord Vishnu. He sustains this creation so that we human beings have an opportunity to do our duty, purify our mind, gain the knowledge of Brahman, convert it to wisdom, and become one with Brahman. Gain the purpose of human birth. Third, as Lord Rudra, Ishvara, dissolves this creation at the end of each cycle. And if we human beings have failed to gain moksha, when the cycle comes to an end, we, with our subtle body and our accumulated karmas, we dissolve into an unmanifest condition called Prakriti. And when the next cycle comes, we are born with our accumulated karmas and continue from where we left off. These 9 seeming contradictory statements reveal Brahman very precisely and completely. In order for us to see Brahman, the pure consciousness, in every aspect of this creation. Verse 17, Sri Krishna concludes on the knowledge of Brahman, Jneyam, first, that Brahman is the light of all lights. Jyotisam api tat jyotir. It is said to be the light beyond ignorance. Tamasa param uchyate. Atma is self-evidence, self-effulgence, the final source of light. And it does not depend on any other source of light to illumine it. It is because of Atma all other lights like the sun, the moon, the stars and other sources of light exist. Atma allows everything. It is the light because of which we are aware of darkness. Second, Brahman is knowledge, that which has to be known. Jnanam, Jneyam. It is that which is arrived at through knowledge. Jnana Gamyam. And it is present in the intellect of all. Hridi Sarvasya Vistitam. When our minds are established with values and attitudes, the means of knowledge, then when we expose our intellect to the study of the knowledge of Brahman, we will recognize that this knowledge exists in various forms in our intellect without being affected by the many things that takes place in this creation and in our lives. The intellect remains as pure consciousness as Atma, Brahman shines forth as wisdom. In verse 18, Sri Krishna sums up in brief, Uktam Samasata, what he has taught from verses 1 to 17. First, that this body, Iti Kshetra, is made up of the 5 elements, which in its unmanifest form is our intellect, ego, mind, 5 senses of perception, 5 powers of action, etc., which later grossified to become our physical body. Second, we learned about the means of knowledge, Tata Jnanam. We must cultivate right values and attitudes. And keeping moksha in view is the most important value. Third, we learned about the knowledge of Brahman, Jneyam. We learned that Brahman has no beginning or end. Brahman is not an existent or non-existent thing, etc. Fourth and finally, to qualify for the vision of Brahman, Jneyam, we must be devoted to Ishvara, Mat Bhakta. Devotion means pure love and all-consuming love for the knowledge of Brahman. This love will bring about all the qualification necessary for the knowledge to take place. as we give our entire body, mind, senses to the pursuit of the knowledge of Brahman, whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we touch, etc., will reveal Brahman, the all-knowing, all-powerful, pure consciousness. Gaining this vision, our minds will be overwhelmed with appreciation that everything is Parameshwara, which is truly who we are. Finally, Sri Krishna says, knowing this clearly, you are fit to gain the condition of being me, Parameshwara. Etat vijnaya mad bhavaya upapadyate. For such a person, the knowledge of Brahman cannot be denied. At verse 18, we shall take a break, and next Sri Krishna is going to teach us about Purusha and Prakriti. So till then, Om Namah Shivaya.